You should avoid comfort in cybersecurity and seek out discomfort instead. Seeking discomfort is what allowed me to more than double my salary in only 3 years after joining the pen testing field. So definitely big shout out once again to Harry Maguire, huge supporter of this channel. So thank you very much for the slew of good questions that you've been posing in the chat recently. And his question was, at what point did you feel comfortable as a pen tester? What was it like 1 year into the job, etc.? Now, I know the statement that I started off with can be a bit jarring, but I absolutely stand behind this principle. I think that naturally as humans, we seek homeostasis, right? We seek comfort. We want things to be predictable, and we generally prefer that, more over the unknown. But really where the growth happens is with the discomfort. I mean, certainly first going into a job interview or something like that, right? There's going to probably be a lot of discomfort associated with that. You won't know what to expect. Like, what questions might you get on an interview? How do you answer those questions? Are you ready? Are you truly ready for a job? But if you did like 100 job interviews, 500 job interviews, you'd probably be pretty familiar with the questions that you might get. And those ones that you've answered over and over, you're probably not going to be learning too much from your 501st interview, as opposed to like your second or third interview. You're going to grow a lot more in the beginning, right? If you don't want to have to go through like 100 or 200 interviews to get a job in this field, definitely shortcut your time by checking the description below for my top 10 interview questions. It's going to help, sort of pull together all the interviews that I've had over the years and distill down what are the 10 questions that you need to know to land a job in this field. Also detailed answers on how to respond to these questions in the best way and some additional resources to take it one step further. Definitely the more you do something, the more comfortable that thing becomes to you. So let me just give you a brief example here. Singing in the street, right? A lot of you probably aren't comfortable with this. I would definitely tell you I'm not comfortable with this. If someone told me, you have to go out today in the street and you have to sing, super loudly, super audibly for everyone to hear, I'm not going to be very comfortable doing that. And, if I had to do that 500 times, if I had to do that 1,000 times, right? 500 attempts later, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable doing it than I would be on the first or second attempt, right? Now, at the same time, doing that on the 501st attempt is not going to be as much growth for me, as much benefit for me, as it would be on the first or second time. That's where I'd be the most uncomfortable, and that's actually where I'd be growing the most. So tying this back for another example for you, to something like cybersecurity, pen testing, right? If I'm doing a CTF and I'm doing a server that I've already done, like say I go on Hack the Box right now and I do the machine called Blue, maybe some of you guys are familiar with it. Essentially all it is you can run a simple Metasploit, SMB exploit and fully compromise the system, right? Obviously for someone like me who's done that many times, there's not going to be much benefit. I probably won't gain, I'm sure that I won't gain any value at all from doing that machine. But when I first was learning in the field, there was a lot more benefit to it. It was uncomfortable to me. I'd never ran that exploit. I remember when I was first in college and I ran that Blue exploit through Metasploit and I compromised my Windows 7 laptop across the room. And then I was taking screenshots from the laptop. That was like a super exciting feeling, and there was a lot of growth that happened in that moment. I'd never done something like that before. I've never got a live shell like that on Metasploit. It was like one of the most exciting things for me at the time. And, that was where the growth was happening. There was so much uncertainty, so much to learn, so much new stuff. And then, nowadays, compare that to now where it's like, yeah, I'm very familiar with that. I'm very comfortable with that. But the flip side of being comfortable is it means that I'm not growing in that area. So basically it can serve as a very solid rule of thumb as, signifying whether is what you're doing something that you're actually learning and growing from, or is it not, right? And I think we can really default back to that homeostasis mindset, that comfort. We want something easy, chill, comfortable, but it's definitely important to keep this in mind and, think, is this something that's advancing me forward or is it just comfortable? Now, I will say there is a silver lining to all this. while you should always seek to be uncomfortable, you can still be confident, okay? And this is why, right? There's multiple forms of confidence, right? We do have an overall macro confidence in things. For example, if we've been through a lot of tough situations in the past, let's relate this to cybersecurity. Say there's been tons of things that we didn't know, and we always, or almost always, were able to learn anything we wanted to learn eventually, right? Or, say that we're getting into fitness and, we've been out of shape a bunch of times, but we've always been able to get into shape. We're going to have that macro confidence in ourselves, right? That's going to start to bleed into other areas of our lives. But at the same time, there still is domain-specific confidence that we have in each area, right? Like, for example, I'm very comfortable talking on camera. I've been making a video almost every day for the last, almost 2 years, right? I got over 500 videos, so I practice this a lot, so this is something that I'm comfortable with. Like I said, if someone said I had to go sing in the street, I would not be very confident in performing that action, but eventually I could be confident, right? But I could still have that macro confidence, right? That I was basically speaking about. Yeah, I'm not comfortable doing that yet. I'm not confident with singing in the street, but I have that macro confidence to know that, if this is something that I did 500 times, 1,000 times, I could gain confidence in that domain. So that is a distinction, right? You should always be seeking discomfort, but you should work on developing that macro confidence that you can achieve that. You can reach the end result. And so that's what I would say the point that I reached. And to answer your question, how long did it take to get there? This can differ greatly between everyone watching this video pretty much. But I will say, just to answer your question, for me personally, I would say that a lot of it came when I started working on completely unrelated things and developing my confidence. And I would say probably about when I started making this channel, maybe a little bit after, so maybe a year and a half ago, let's say, is when I really, due to all the personal development stuff that I was undertaking outside of cybersecurity, outside of this channel, I was really able to develop that macro confidence, just to know that, and it bled over to all areas of life. I knew that, okay, maybe I don't have this skill set yet, or maybe I am not where I want to be with this particular thing yet, but I know that if I just stick to it and I keep showing up consistently, I know this is something that I can achieve. And every single time that has been correct, that has been true. And the inverse is also true. When you don't stick to things, when you don't stay consistent, you're very likely not to reach those goals, not to achieve those things. So what I would say to anyone watching, if they want to really establish this macro confidence in themselves, I would say, for one thing, just start sticking it through. You guys are already doing a great job by watching this channel, right? You don't have to watch content on how to level up in cybersecurity, right? You could just stick to your 9-to-5 job and just do the things that are required of you, but you're going out of your way to watch things, to further yourself, to better yourself. And that was exactly the things that I did when I was first developing my macro confidence. And it's an ongoing thing. I'm continually honing everything and becoming better, just as you guys should strive to as well. But I think that you guys are on the right track. Just stay with it. It takes time to develop this stuff. But honestly, wherever you're at right now, understand that you will, if you stay on the path that you're on and you are putting the time into learning cybersecurity, it's only a matter of time and consistency until you get there. You absolutely will get there. And I will say that everyone in this field, even the senior pen testers, most of them will say that there's a lot of times where they're not comfortable with a certain topic, right? There's so many things that you can learn in this field. So certainly if you are a pen tester or even a senior pen tester right now, if you're anyone in this field at all, drop a comment down below and let us know what you think about comfort in this field. Is it something that you find it better to seek or to avoid and instead go into the discomfort? How has that maybe served you in the past? I'd love to hear about everyone's personal experiences with that. And if you are really new to the field and you want to know, get a little bit more information on what does a pen tester actually do in their day-to-day job, I've created the pen testing day in the life video. So go and check that out on the screen right now. I'll see you right over in that video. Thanks for watching.